Yes, it was more than a bit divisive, but let's just take a moment to remember everything it did right. Welcome to WatchMojo UK, and today we're counting down the top 10 reasons Doctor Who Series 11 was actually good. Before we begin, we publish new content every day, so be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. For this list, we're looking at all the positive points that contributed to creating yet another exciting, entertaining, and worthwhile season of sci-fi shenanigans. Number 10, accessible for new audiences. Let's be frank, with every passing series, Doctor Who was starting to get more and more complicated, collapsing under its own weight of every convoluted story arc that had gone before, and over-relying on alternative dimensions and timey-wimey explanations.
Are you a Time Lord?
You know who I am. You must.
Thank heavens then for new showrunner Chris Chibnall, who took a blank slate approach to create an easier, more streamlined experience.
What are you? Okay, don't like questions, more the private type.
With a new Doctor, new villains, new companions, and more self-contained stories, Season 11 is far more approachable and understandable for latecomers, especially younger viewers who may only just be starting to watch.
But it's an old police box.
Sort of. Not really.
Number 9, in keeping with the classics. While treading all new territories in some ways, the first ever Whittaker-fronted storylines also have a far more grounded feel to them, which makes Series 11 feel much more like classic-era episodes.
Hi. We don't mean you any harm. You're not supposed to be this big, and you're definitely not supposed to attack humans.
Addressing issues of social justice and using their historical settings to serve as a commentary for current events, a lot of these ideas fell more in line with Peter Davison and Sylvester McCoy's adventures. Anyone remember the Happiness Patrol? Series 11 struck a tricky balance between bringing change and moving forwards, while also learning from and paying homage to the past, which, to be honest, feels very in tune with what the show is all about.
Do something! I'm trying! There are sensor codes are fluctuating!
Number 8, new villains. Again, this one's all about Series 11 setting itself apart. Rather than simply relying on Doctor Who staples such as the Daleks or the Cybermen, the 13th Doctor has been thwarting brand new baddies, like Tim Shaw.
You're not taking any human from Earth tonight. Leave now, or we're gonna stop you.
Good luck.
Not only that, but because of the show's new "let's make this thing more accessible" mantra, some of the real threats depicted are far less tangible, as their malevolence is more linked to themes of intolerance and prejudice.
Allowed a hobby.
And yours is Rosa Parks.
This is where things started to go wrong.
And you think you can put them right?
Okay, so the new characters aren't yet quite as iconic as the Master or Davros, but at least they offer something different for the future.
This was my curse. For failure.
Number 7, Alan Cumming as King James. The ever-watchable Alan Cummings brings to life a very OTT and flamboyant James Stewart, King of Scotland, England and Ireland. Seriously, what's not to like about that?
Madam, I have come to your rescue.
King James.
In an outing dealing with the gender divide, he's hell-bent on ending the tyranny of witches, all while the Doctor and her team try to make head or tail about what the heck's going on.
God will keep me safe. As long as I do his work. That felt good.
Playing to Cummings' strength as a pantomime swashbuckler, it even left some calling for some kind of King James character spin-off series. At the very least, let's hope he's a recurring character.
Where did they go?
Number 6, it demanded attention and got people talking. While Peter Capaldi picked up plenty of fans as the 12th Doctor, and many rank his episodes as among the best, it's also true that Doctor Who seemed to lose momentum in Series 10. Series 11 changed all of that before it had even started.
Oh, brilliant.
Because in the run-up to Whittaker's debut, it was big news again. Doubtless, the worldwide interest was partly down to the casting of Jodie in the title role, but the opening episodes still brought in more than 10.5 million viewers, and the first 5 averaged at 8.5 million. They're not stats to be sniffed at.
Oh, this new nose is so reliable.
Number 5, inclusivity and diversity. It was almost impossible not to be aware of the hubbub surrounding the casting of a female actor in the lead role. So, the biggest, or most infamous barrier, was brought crashing down by Jodie Whittaker.
Fat lot of use you two were. Hey!
But the Series 11 tendency for trailblazing didn't stop there. New companion Ryan, played by Tosin Cole, suffered with dyspraxia.
Nearly. No, not nearly. I'm sick of coming up here. I'm sick of falling. and I'm sick of this stupid bike.
And while a condition didn't define the character, it was a detail that earned the series praise. Elsewhere, Doctor Who also cast its first blind actress, Ellie Warwick, in the episode It Takes You Away.
We need to get inside. It always comes out wrong now.
Number 4, Rosa. In terms of single episodes, none achieved a buzz quite comparable to this one.
Excuse me. Drop this. Hey, get your filthy black hands off my wife.
As the 13th Doctor's third outing, Rosa is not only a cracking tale in its own right, taking the TARDIS to a crucial point in time, but also a very emotional and thought-provoking episode. Bringing the civil rights movement to an audience of all ages, it was praised on social media for starting conversations amongst families and friends about racial discrimination, equality, and social issues.
Now, if I win your raffle, will that give me the right to sit anywhere I want on this bus?
No.
I didn't think so.
Held together by an acclaimed Vinette Robinson performance, for many it was also when Whittaker started to really put her stamp on the Doctor.
It's an offense to harbor colours in a room here.
We're not harboring anyone who doesn't have a right to be here.
Number 3, best production values yet. The special effects have traditionally been a bit of a problem for Doctor Who, with the show's earlier gadgets and monsters looking little better than a bunch of papier-mâché models and fairy liquid bottles. And even more recent episodes are plagued by some highly questionable CGI. But dodgy props are no longer the butt of the joke, because Series 11 definitely bucked that trend. From awesome on-location sets to clever convincing alien makeup, Who suddenly feels a lot more cinematic, with a look that's much more befitting a TV show with this level of scope and imagination.
Yippee-ki-yay, robots.
Number 2, Bradley Walsh. In what was perhaps the biggest surprise for the more apprehensive Who fans, host of The Chase Bradley Walsh was not only really good, but actually a bit of a scene stealer.
You don't look like an alien.
And with more than a few emotional moments, he wasn't just there for comic relief either, although quoting Tarantino to James I was probably a series highlight.
We will strike down upon thee with great vengeance and furious anger.
Ezekiel.
Tarantino.
Ryan and Yaz combined for the rest of Team TARDIS, which turned out to be a concept that really worked well. But Bradders definitely came out of Series 11, having much improved his acting credentials.
Not a word.
Number 1, Jodie Whittaker. Series 11 received some flack, no doubt, but Jodie Whittaker definitely answered her critics, and there were quite a few at the start. The decision to opt for a female Doctor caused all kinds of kerfuffle in the build-up, but the move didn't really shape the series itself. Instead, Whittaker set about making the role her own.
Can't remember it. It's right there on the tip of my... What's that?
Tongue?
Tongue! Smart boy. Biology.
Her character's likeable, a little outrageous at times without being obnoxious, and given the opportunity, she'll make sacrifices with real pathos. With an emotional range that's wide open, a soon-to-be iconic outfit of choice, and an ever-present unpredictability about her, she took a tough gig and triumphed.
The universe will surprise you. Constantly.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out these other great clips from WatchMojo UK, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.